Fight for yourself, fight for your environment, fight for the people who don't believe in you, fight for the circumstances, the fight for the 4 a.m., 5 a.m. club. It's literally a fight. So we say, and on the bottom of my emails now, not to remember or remind anybody else because they've never seen it, but remind me every single time, is that your future is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
It's pick your hard.
Yeah.
Pick your hard of exercise or sickness. Pick your hard of saving or of debt. Pick your hard of any of these categories of success or failure. They both have hard. They're both hard. Pick the right one.
Yeah.
And fight. Don't meander.
Yeah.
Don't be passive. Fight.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the podcast. This is where we discuss current events, personal growth, and any other random topic that crosses our minds. Our goal is to have a meaningful discussion that help us to see the topics we discuss more clearly. Our hope is we can help you expand your self-awareness, develop your critical thinking, and learn to be less reactive to the world around you. And most importantly, remember, be curious. If you like what you hear, like this video and subscribe to the channel. If you have any feedback, please leave a comment. We want to hear what you think.
Chris!
Scott!
Guess what day this is, Chris? Come on, you know by now.
Podcast Friday.
That is right, and we have a very special guest, Dan Ison, again, a fellow Toastmaster, and
we are milking Toastmasters for all we're worth, aren't we?
Everything's working.
You're getting your money's worth, and then our money's worth. So shoot.
So Dan, let's start out by just I don't know much about you other than we've been to a bunch of Toastmasters meetings together, and could you just give us a little bit of background and introduction for yourself?
And you said this is a 4.5 hour podcast. Great. So I'll get started.
Okay, nice.
No, I mean, there's a lot, right? Just in everybody's life. And even the ones that think they don't have a story, they have a story. And that's why I love podcasts. That's why, quite frankly, I love your guys' podcasts because you dive into that and realize that there's something we can learn from every person on the planet. They all know something I don't. Sometimes a lot of things I don't. But I tell you, I went early on in life knowing that I wanted to create, I wanted to build, I wanted to develop, I wanted to be part of something bigger than myself. The hiccup, which is a lot like everybody else's hiccup, is, okay, great, now what? Mm-hmm. So everything from, I worked at Chick-fil-A thinking I want to own a Chick-fil-A business, which is great in and of its own right. And I went into got a business degree because if you don't know what you're going to do, you get a degree about everything. So you can be the jack of all trades, right? And the truth is I got out of that and went to corporate because it was secure and it was a big job. And then I realized really how secure that was. And each of these life lessons creates quite frankly, it created the Chris that sits in front of us and the Scott and the Dan and anybody listening, because that's the journey that we maybe didn't plan, but built us to who we are. And that corporate job that I had to lay other people off, which almost hurt harder than getting laid off myself.
Yeah. It
triggered something to say, never again. I remember walking out and it was dark and maybe this is not about this, but I'm literally remembering it right now. I walked out of this office building to my truck and audibly saying and catching myself saying, I will never. Now, I didn't finish it, but I said, I will never allow a man, a woman, an entity, a company, corporation, anybody to impact my life and my family's future like I just had to do on behalf of the corporation to those 5 individuals right there.
Yeah.
And I don't know how. Again, I know what I want, but I didn't know how. And so that weekend, I actually started, of all the things I could have done, that weekend I started, and a small seed of planted. I worked with a gentleman who owned a business. That business happened to be a janitorial business, of all things, cleaning. And I worked with him and I said, hey, look, if you don't mind, give me some advice about starting a business. And the first thing he said, don't do it.
Don't do it.
And I'm like, ooh, I'm excited. Yes, sir. I'm ready. What's it going to be? And he's like, don't do it. I'm like, okay. That was anticlimactic.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I said, okay. And his name was John. John, if I were going to do it,
Yeah. There you go.
would you help me along that thought process? He said, sure. Come over to my home. Let's have some breakfast.
Yeah.
I came over to his home on Saturday morning for another 9 months every week. And I worked in his business, running some of his crews, and he taught me over breakfast every Saturday.
Oh my gosh. There you go.
And those people come in our life, and we don't know sometimes why, but to this day, and he's actually passed away now, but I don't think he'll ever know, because after that I moved from Houston to Denver because I like the climate and all that, and I started a business and ran that 25 employees, several crews and trucks all over the place, and ran that for about 12 years. Realizing, I wanted to build this something bigger myself. The end of that taught me something, and then it leads to today. I'll wrap it up. But I realized that it wasn't the paychecks that was going to make all the difference in my team's life. It was what to do with the paychecks once they received them.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
it wasn't the raise, or it wasn't the Friday check on Thursday they needed. It was knowledge.
Yeah.
And work ethic wasn't going to get them there. So
Yeah.
after I sold that, and then I went into finance, and that's where I am today because of those little life lessons, countless more that pay that way.
Yeah. That's pretty darn cool. That's awesome. That
So
sounds.
are you still in the Denver area?
No, I'm in Salt Lake now. So we went up and over the mountain. Now I'm in Salt Lake, same climate, closer to ski resorts.
There you go. That's awesome. That does make a lot of sense because, I mean, the work that you do, that just like makes your lifestyle, but hopefully you can carve out enough money so you can buy assets that will kick off cash that you don't have to work for. Is that sort of what is that? The Rich Dad Poor Dad. That's sort of, I learned
All day
that like
long.
20
Rich
years
Dad,
ago.
Poor Dad, yeah.
Yeah, the game, right? I played that a few times. I'm like, oh, I kind of got the concept at that point. That's
Yeah.
like a great concept.
I think the idea is interesting because when you're living paycheck to paycheck, or you're, on the lower spectrum of making money, finding the $50 or $100 to set aside every week or whatever it is a lot of work.
Yeah.
But when you see after 2 years or 4 years what that money becomes, I think
Yeah.
you get to the point where you're motivated, where now the desire actually drives more of that behavior,
Yeah.
because
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
oh wow, this works, and and it's not a quick, fast, easy win. It's not like you're going to buy a Bitcoin at $20 and suddenly you have, $110,000 of Bitcoin. It's going to take time because it's a habit that you have to just reinforce over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And I feel so many, at least in the US, so many people just never learn it.
Well, it's hard. It requires discipline. So I have a personal story. Like my wife, Shelley, she worked for CBRE. And I think in her retirement fund, she worked there for like 20 years or 25 years or something like that, just part-time. And I think she had like, I don't know, it was like $40,000 in her 401k or something. And she was putting in just the bare minimum match. So we moved to Arkansas like 4 years ago. So I convinced her, crank it up. I want you to crank that thing all the way up. And the market's done well all across COVID. I think last time we checked, she had like 250 grand in there or whatever. And she's like super happy. And she figured out how to get by without that extra money, right? Somehow. Now she's really happy.
Every time your salary goes up, you put a half of it or whatever, a chunk of it, into something else. You're living off this amount of money. Your salary goes up by what percentage? You just add, just have it. Half of it goes to savings and assets, and the other half goes to, increasing your lifestyle, I guess.
That's like a magical thing.
Above all of these things, right? Because these are all things that we've heard of and talked about before, and like 30 years out, you're gonna see the win. You're gonna, yes, obviously yes.
Yeah,
Compound interest, all that. But the difference that I see, and the difference that we preach, that we teach, that we inspire people by, is yes, 30 years out, but also 30 days out, you can see an impact. Now, not in your portfolio from going from 40 to 250, but something more powerful. And not even 30 days. If we do it right, you can do this.
Oh yeah.
In 30 minutes. 30 minutes. Why?
Yeah.
Because there's so many things in our world we cannot control. Now you got me heated. Now,
This is where we want, yeah.
excited way, in a positive way, right?
Here we
Because
go.
there's so, and I'm thinking of this couple that I just spoke with, right? Like literally right before I got on here,
Mhm.
and now they're in my lives, and they're in my brain. They were frustrated. They weren't when I first got on, because they were just like, all right, what are we doing? We're doing a Zoom thing, and okay, fine. But okay, I'll get them distance enough that I can speak.
Okay.
Because it turns out as a podcast, you have to have audio. The truth is that when they came on, they were fighting. You know, if you go to my LinkedIn page right now, right underneath my head, my face and my little header right there, you know, it says, "We help couples fight more." I'm sorry, what?
Yeah.
For their future,
For the
not
future,
each other.
Yeah.
Specifically when regarding finances. That's what this couple was. We talked about finances, and instantaneously I could see like a glaze over and a frustration, because it's her fault, or it's his fault, or it's the government, or it's the president's fault. I don't know. The truth is there are so many things you don't have control over, but there are so many things you do. Let's grab a hold of those, put them in the right order that you dictate, and take a step, a VNS, our very next step. And whatever that happens to be, that's where that comes from, is because at least some control that you didn't feel like you had, and some momentum that you didn't feel like you could make. And you did it in 30 minutes.
Yeah. You made a decision.
You made a decision. You got mad. Made a decision. Yeah. MAD.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. That's
But it's not. I think part of it is people shy away from things that are painful, and money can be very painful.
Absolutely.
And then everyone has their own relationship with money as well, and your own beliefs.
Oh yeah.
And I think even more than religious differences and even family value differences, money value differences cause people don't talk about them. They hide them. They don't even understand their own values.
Yeah.
And so you end up fighting with things where one person might look as a $20 expenditure as a huge amount of money, and the other one looks at a $2,000 expenditure and doesn't think anything of it. Right? I mean, that's an amazing gap. And I remember when I had my first job back in the U.S. after coming back from Japan, my wife and I, we would discuss every $20 purchase.
Oh, interesting.
Right?
Okay.
We don't do that now. I mean, back in the days when we were buying CDs, remember Tower Records and the like, and we would talk, oh yeah, is it okay if I buy this CD? We would ask each other these types of questions, right? And as the amount of money we made went up, we worried less about the $20, and it became $100, and then it became whatever. But the idea being that we were on the same page, knowing that this was valuable to us, and that $20 for the CD, the joy I got of listening to the CD, I might have enjoyed putting it into a bank account or a CD or an investment that $20 is going to be worth $140 at some point, right? Yeah. And so that was an understanding we had. Yeah. So I think that's critical, you know, as much as every other thing else that you discuss with as a couple or in a relationship, you need to understand how you view money.
Yeah, that's important. That's a big one. Yeah, that causes a lot of fights, right? What is it like? Money, sex, politics, religion, those are the big ones, right?
And I think that the biggest way, ironically, to alleviate, even if someone were to take something from this, or me or you or whoever, to take something away from how do we talk about money better, is honestly, it's to actually not talk about money at all at first. And you're like, wait a minute, what? Well, you speak about, because really what I am and what a lot of us are, we're translators. From charts and graphs to hopes and dreams.
Yeah, right.
Because I know charts and graphs. I geek out on that all day. Like I do that for fun. Sorry, that's just a me thing. But that doesn't translate well, turns out. Doing a budget doesn't translate well right away, right? Because then it's like, but if we could put that in the back burner just for a moment. Now let's talk about something that can bring us together. And sometimes we have to dust that off, that muscle, flex it out a little bit. But it is hopes and dreams, and not someday, but today.
Yeah.
What can we do? Like, we can't do everything today, but we can do something today. And what would that look like? I want to go on a date with you once a week. Fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah.
Guess what? Here we go. Right.
Yeah.
And what are some of those dreams? And now let's not just do some magazine cutouts on a board, but let's create now we have to start sprinkling in some of this money conversation because we're going to fund it, and by here it should be here. Isn't that exciting? By here you should be here. Now, I mean, I'm not going to tell you, but we're talking about money. Yeah, but I snuck it in there. There because now we're equally yoked, and we're fighting for our future, and that future is our dreams and hopes, and what does success look like? It happens to need a little bit of money to create those realities. So let's go ahead and put those in on a strategized place where we can both agree. And oh my gosh, now our relationship is hopes and dreams, not despair and anguish, and I can't spend, or I can't do this. I can't. No, I will, and I'm about to achieve some great things together, because together we're stronger. Then they see that, all off to the races.
Yeah. That's really cool, because that changes things from like hopes and dreams to reality. It's like, I literally have a
I'm thinking like
it's always like, someday. Yeah, someday we're gonna like have all this money and we're gonna go on these awesome vacations. Like, no, you're not.
No.
It's like, probably.
So Dan, how are you? You know, Scott and I are both probably in the charts and graphs like you are.
Oh yeah.
So how are you connecting to someone so that those who don't think in charts and graphs, don't put the mental energy into thinking about the analytical side of things? How do you connect with them so that they they understand the importance of what you're talking about? I'm not sure they're ever going to understand the analytical side of it.
The tricky thing is this. I have a client. I'm just thinking about right now. I have a client, and he has $12.4 million. Great. I have a school teacher making $24,000.
Yeah, right.
Right? Like, I have to literally go on a mental exercise before I transition from two appointments like that.
Yeah.
But the ironic thing that I learned early on, and this is how you convert it, right? To me was, it caught me off guard. After doing hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of these, I realized they have the same pain points.
Yeah, it's the same thing. Yeah, right.
They have literally the same fear. If I ask them, not what they did last weekend or, hey, how's the game? I'm not here to talk about that. What keeps you up at night?
Yeah, right.
Or what springs you out of bed in the morning?
Yeah.
Those are the two questions I ask.
Yeah.
And I ask every walks of life, north, east, south, west, all of them, right?
Yeah.
I used to do a 50-mile radius around my office right here. And now we don't have an office there anymore. Now we do a 50-state radius. So now we can help and serve a lot more people. But the truth is that conversion of that conversation is very, very comparable. It truly is. Just how many zeros we're talking about.
Yeah, no, that's
right?
Exactly right.
Because
that's
the emotion, and Chris, you mentioned this, the relationship that you have with that money will come out, right? And whether it's a good number or a bad number, to me, it's just charts. It's a graph, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's just a number. Yeah. But to them, it's almost like they have to justify it if it's low.
Yeah.
Or they sit a little bit higher if it's high, because that means that's their IQ or that's their worth. No, it's not. It's a number, right? You can have a solid soul, a huge heart, and have a low bank account. That's feasible. It's pretty likely, actually.
Yeah.
And vice versa. You can have a huge high bank account, and you can be garbage.
Yeah.
That's as nice as I can say it.
Yeah.
Right. So when I start diverting those now to get your goals, you need these things. But I really do. So there's 5 categories: goals, dreams. That's literally on our software. It's a whole page called goals and dreams. It literally is. And then cash, meaning cash flow.
Yeah.
What comes in, what goes out. Just an understanding. Like, what ingredients do we have to work with?
Yeah.
Right. Because you have to start with what ingredients you have to work with, and you start relabeling some of these things. Right. It's not like, oh, I spent no ingredients.
Yeah. Right.
And then we talk about debt. Then we talk about protection.
Yeah.
For you and your money. What protections do you have in place for you? What protections do you have in place for your money? And then assets.
Mm-hmm.
Assets, right? Good, bad, small, large. I mean, these are just fact finding. And then together we create an opportunity. And that's after all that journey, and they don't know it, but that journey, now they will. That journey is part of the financial literacy. Yeah. Not like, here's some vocabulary word. No. This journey, you going from where you think you are, and this over here, and then this over here, and then this over, and there's something over here. I think I have some saving. Okay, all right, that's chaotic.
Yeah,
and you put all those things on one document and see how they work, not in silos, but holistically.
Yeah.
Once they see that, they can see the big picture.
Yeah.
Then honestly, the truth is, I take a half step back. there's no recommendations, there's no suggestions. I just say, what do you see?
Yeah.
What do you see? Because usually they're way harder on themselves than I ever would be.
Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
I said,
Yes.
I'm not saying you should make a change, but if you were to make a change, knowing what you see here, what area might you start in?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not saying you're spending too much or that. I say between good and bad, it's not bad. You're not hurting somebody with it. Okay, let's take that off the table. So everything you're investing or spending money on, it's at least good, intrinsically good. There's some value there somehow. Now the only question is there something better?
Mm-hmm.
Is there something best?
Mm-hmm.
Abundant mindset. Not you can't spend more on your shoes, but I want more. I want a Fiji fund. Sweet,
Yeah.
that's exciting. Or I want financial freedom.
Yeah.
Well, that's exciting too. Let's still buy some shoes.
Yeah.
But maybe a little bit less because we want this more.
Yeah.
Abundance
Yeah.
mindset. That's the transition.
That is so amazing. Okay, so wait a minute. I want to start derailing this conversation and doing kind of what I do when I'm.
There we go. Here
better.
and Scott, everyone. Let's get.
Here we go. So you mentioned something. I think it's so powerful. And Chris, we've talked about this before, but I want to just dig this thing out and like dig into this a little bit more. Is you ask the question, tell me what you see. And that is such a powerful question, actually, because you're not placing any value judgment on that. You're not getting them to interpret. Just tell me what you see. Because if you don't ask that specific question, they're going to come back with all sorts of biases and different things and opinions about things. Like, I don't want any of those right now. Just tell me what you see.
And like, it's because of this. Like, I didn't ask you. Calm down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I see that we've got some savings. I see that we've got a lot of credit card debt. I see that we're paying 30% interest. I see that, we're behind on our rent. No value judgment, no blame, no good, no bad. It's like, that's just where you are. And the funny thing about money is if you can get past the shame of it,
Yeah.
money comes and money goes fast. I mean, it's money's a funny thing, actually. Anyways, that's all I got to say about that.
Well, stewardship, right? We're stewards of time, stewards of our money. And I think the disconnect between realizing and I keep using these analogies of traveling from where we are to where we want to be, a vehicle to get us there, a roadmap to get us there, an extra tire in case, I use the same analogy over and over and over in different ways. And I say, when you type in your phone and you're like, hey, I'm going to this place, it's a new restaurant or it's a new destination, camping site, whatever. I type in the address. Does it matter where you start? Well, kind of, because at least to make the map work. But am I focused on where I'm started?
Yeah.
I couldn't care less.
Yeah,
Like,
right.
I don't care where I started. I'm not looking 2 seconds where I started.
Right.
I'm worried about, or I'm focused on what? VNS. Very next. What am I doing? Am I taking a left or right? Am I going straight? Oh, I'm going straight. Okay, good.
Yeah.
Okay, hold on. I'm on phone. Oh, good. We're getting closer.
Yeah.
And that's the key. So where you are now, you just said it. You have 2 credit cards. You have a bank loan. You have a student loan. Maybe you have some savings. You have 401k. It's fantastic at $2,300. Woo! All in one place. Good job for you. Okay, but that's where you've been. That's the GPS where you started.
Yeah. Right.
And like now, could it be better? Sure. Could it be worse? Sure. Right. Obviously. Could you have been closer to your destination? Yeah, a lot of people are. Could you have been farther from your debt? Yeah, a lot of people are.
Yeah, of course.
Right.
Yeah.
And so you're blaming or picking yourself on something that really, like, look, now what?
Yeah.
Because we're heading up the mountain. We're about to have a good time this weekend. Let's focus on our destination.
Yeah.
Because the journey can be as fun as the destination, but only if you stop worrying and beating yourself up. And the last analogy I use is that little windshield, the rear view. Like, how big is, and you guys probably heard this, but how big is that rear view mirror? It's like this big, right? Like whatever. And then how big is your windshield?
Yeah.
Well, I can't fit. It's this big.
Yeah.
Right. And percentage wise, do you need to look back? Yeah, absolutely you do. Definitely look back. That's why it's there. You need to look back, but just enough, just a glance, so you can focus on the future.
So
I was
sorry,
thinking,
Chris, go ahead.
You said your journey can be as fun as your destination. I actually think of it along the lines that your journey makes you appreciate the destination, because once you understand everything that went into getting to the destination,
Exactly right.
you actually value it more, because the understanding is seek first to understand, right? Because once you understand everything, then you, well, that's not quite the right use of that quote, but you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, no, that's exactly right. Just same as like, say, you know, a teenager saving money to buy his first car, or the first car was given to him, or maybe both. Maybe he saved money and it, you know, then the rest was given to, like, all those things. I just got off a training earlier today, and we were just simply talking about $1 million. You know, earning $1 million over a lifetime in a year, like whatever, $1 million. The problem with most people trying to shoot for that $1 million is they're focused on the $1 million, on what I've accomplished, not who I've become.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
If you focus on who you need to become, what kind of leadership capabilities, what books you need to read, like who do you need to associate with, like who do I need to become in the journey, Chris, your point, in the process, and you're focused on me. I'm focused on being better than I was yesterday. Man, it's strengthened. You're going to glance back and you're going to say, "Oh, look, there's $500,000. Okay, anyway, I'm busy. Okay, great. Let's keep focused. Let's go to Toastmasters. Let's go to Mastermind Group. Man, I'm doing good, but man, oh my gosh, there's 750, and then there's $1 million. Well, that's cute and all, that's fine, but I'm not really focused on that anymore. I'm focused on the impact that I make in my community. I just happen to have more resources to do it.
Yeah,
because I become who I need to be.
Yeah, right.
Now that's fallen aside, and now you get it. Not until then. In my journey, it was just as exciting, just as, you know, traumatic, just as all of those emotions come. I've now arrived. Now I'm not worthy per se, but I've fought the good fight and been blessed accordingly.
Okay, so hang on. So you used in certain terms that made me think of like biblical things. Are you pulling those things out from biblical, like being good steward? That seems to be like a biblical concept and other things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
No, and I think it applies for anybody and everybody in any faith. It's just the core values that are here, if they happen to, you know, that are taught. Or I think that the gifts, what you said, you know, money's, man, that's a slippery thing. And that's why I think it comes and it goes, it ebbs and it flows, right? It's the peaks and valleys. That's a lot of things in our life. And I think there's the stewardship associated with that. Different way to look at it.
Yeah. Hey, Chris, we can't hear you.
I'm going to restate something you said. It's not the goal, right? It's who you have to be to get the goal, right? Mm-hmm. And I was thinking, I've heard some people call it, you know, reverse engineering your goal.
Absolutely.
Here's the goal. What does it take to have that goal? Which is, what kind of person do you need to be? What skills do you have to have? And then what's the gap between who I am today and who that person is, right? And we talk about the idea of an alter ego. It's the same idea. Is you're building this concept of that is what it takes to be that level of success. The goal that goes with that level of success is what I want. So I need to achieve that level of success, which is these skill sets. And then you can build a plan saying, okay, I need to learn more AI. I need to learn more business. I need to get better at communication, whatever the heck it is. Because at that point, and then the journey to do that, you know, this kind of goes back to what we're talking about in Toastmasters today is, you know, the fitness was the theme and people were talking about how they love going out there and working their asses off and sweating and being in pain. And I'm like, I hate that. But maybe that's the point, is once you figure out, hey, these are the skills I need. This is the knowledge I need. These are the people I need to meet. And you say, this is going to be hard. This is going to be painful. This is going to hurt. But after doing it and getting the success of doing it, maybe you start to enjoy it, and then you keep doing it. And then you surpass the goal because you've surpassed the person that got to that goal.
Oh. Yeah. I think that's right. And you may not enjoy it, but you're willing to pay the price. You're like, because I'm going to get that thing, so I'm willing to do the work. And another thing, Chris, Dan, if you have a better plan, it doesn't mean you necessarily have to work harder. I think that's what people sometimes get confused about is, oh, if I want to make a lot of money, that means I've got to sacrifice my family and I never can see them. And I'm like, not necessarily. I mean, sometimes you just got a better plan, you know?
Yeah. Well, and you become better. Don't wish it was easier. Wish you were better.
Oh, but
and there's a cost
on me now. Yes.
There's a cost, and the problem is when we grow up. And again, I'm not talking about the school system, not talking about the economy. I'm just saying some words here, okay? So simmer down, everybody.
Okay, simmer down.
Not you guys, but you know, there's a cost associated.
Yes.
And so instead of showing up That's for another podcast. I understand this. But instead of just showing up and getting this huge accolades for show, yes, no, you showed up. You showed up, right? The cost is this. The price is this. The price to win is this. Now, if you can do that and you give it your all and you're here, then good try.
Yeah.
But you don't get it.
You don't
because
get
the
it.
price is this. You're short. Now, go back and try to either improve, but don't bargain for the price to be cheap. It won't be. It is what it is.
Yeah.
So whether it's a better system, whether you have more people, whether you have you're stronger, you have more grit, whatever it takes. But the price is the price. The price for $1 million, the price to impact hundreds of thousands of people, the price to impact your own family, the price to impact yourself. There's a price.
Yeah.
And you need to understand that you need to pay that price in full, or no trophy for you.
Yeah.
People are telling us we don't need to pay that price anymore. That's the problem I think we have societally today is organizations, entities, government, politicians, famous people, whatever, tell us you don't have to pay the price. There's a shortcut. You can do this. You don't have to do the pain. You don't have. And I think what ends up happening is then people begin to believe, yeah, I don't have to pay the price. But the price in this case is the core fundamental. It's like, we keep talking about the laws of physics or first principles, the idea like, I really want to be able to fly. I really want to be able to fly. And the laws of physics say I cannot fly. I cannot just levitate and float. But you know what? I'm going to try really hard. And if I try hard enough, I'm going to be able to fly. Yeah, come on. Reality checks sets in. It's just now we're talking about social values and dollar amounts and things like that, where there is a little bit of social influence involved. And suddenly people think, oh, well, I can just change the rules.
Yeah, that's so interesting, because Dan, I'm gonna pull out a little more Jim Rohn on you, actually.
I love this.
Because he talked about that, two things, right? In your particular, Chris, case, he made a statement based on you can't get rich by demanding it. It just doesn't work. It's just like money comes. I mean, when money comes, money has a very particular set of rules you've got to get right. Yeah, that's so interesting.
I think the sideline of this, and people hear that, I hear this, I'm like, oh, you guys are a bunch of mean, or maybe it's the true, well, daggone, well, maybe it's not meant for me. No, you're looking at it all differently. Wrong, actually. So, Chris, you started the conversation earlier on by saying, and like highlighting, the journey can be, and we both said it, but the journey can be just as rewarding as the destination.
Yeah.
And that's what we need to keep in mind. Now, if it's not that yet, it's okay. That's part of the journey, my people. It's part of the journey. And the truth is, it can be. And going to the gym, it totally stinks. Having to get up early in the morning and having your muscles hurt or whatever. But eventually, you can enjoy the journey. Not every moment of every day, of every second. But the truth is, you can enjoy the journey and enjoy technically even how difficult that journey even might be. Yeah. Not just for you, but for everyone. We're all in the same. So those people you see who are also on the journey, there's a little bit of a bonding there because it's not sympathy. Oh, I bet that's hard for you. No. It's empathy. We're on this together. And there's some sort of a resemblance of, good for you, my friend. I don't even know you, but good for you. My goodness, we're fighting this fight together, and I'm strengthened just to see you here. Let's keep on going.
Yeah, because think of the bond you get because you have a shared experience. You're like,
exactly.
Even though we may have done multiple different businesses, we still had to build it. We had to grow. We had to deal with personnel. We had to build a lot. I mean, we had to deal with all these things. There's like, I can feel you. Yeah, that's amazing.
One of the quotes that I heard a few months ago, which has stuck with me, is, "It's not the journey or the destination; it's who you become along the way."
Yeah.
Right, because that is in fact what it is. It's about the growth, right? It's the hero's journey is as we see the hero change along the way. And
that's
the
what
change
we want
is where the value is.
And that's why you can see it. I mean, I can see some of, not in granular detail, but I can see the grit that Chris brings to the table, that Scott brings to the table. Or I can see someone who talks about the grit.
Yeah.
Because I read it in a book somewhere. But you can see it. Like we don't post our bank accounts or whatever, but the truth is you see it. When someone walks in a room, before they say a single word, you feel it. You understand it.
Yeah.
Not because he's walking like all cocky. No, he's just he's been on a journey. You
Yeah.
don't know what journey, you don't know where, but he's conquered it, and he had to change through that process. And there's a magnetism there because I want to learn more about that.
Yeah.
And see what that was about.
Yeah. That's super. Yeah, exactly.
You can't put a finger on it. That's the weird thing, right? Like you have a room, maybe there's 30 people or 40 people, whatever, and someone walks in, or someone you overhear somebody talking about somebody else, and you're like, "Oh my gosh, do you feel that?" Like I don't know, I don't, but there's something.
There's something there.
There's the people, they're super cool folks, and then there's that guy. Like,
And there's that guy.
who's he? Like, or gal. There's that gal. Like, oh my goodness, I don't even know who she is. And then you hear, and you're like, oh, that makes sense. Yeah.
Yep.
It's like it comes out of their pores. Like I know my jujitsu master, Alan Goes. I mean, I hung out with him a lot, and there'd be times when people would want to pick a fight with him, right? And it's interesting. I'm like, that would be a really bad decision on your part.
But life's full of choices.
But actually, to be honest with you, he'd probably be the best one to pick a fight with because he probably wouldn't hurt you, actually. But it's like,
he knows
he
what
would
it takes
just laugh at
to,
it.
yeah.
He's like, buddy, why don't you just calm down? Let's go get a beer or something like that. Because
Help
that would
me
not
help you.
rattle him at all. It's like he would just be like, come on, it's like a little 3-year-old like wanting to like beat you up. You're like, there's no fear, there's no risk to you.
Yeah.
Come on, buddy, come here. Let's calm down a little bit. And it's like, I don't know how to describe that, but yeah, I wish we could make up a word for that because it literally just comes out of the pores. It's like this energy thing.
It's like a presence.
Yeah.
Right. Like there's the presence about them. They don't have to show off. They don't have to belittle. They don't have to.
It's
impress.
a level of authenticity where you are aligned with everything about yourself, and it comes through in the way you exist.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's
How
not
do
the
we
way you
fake-
present yourself; it's in the way you exist.
Can we fake that?
No.
We fake
I
it?
think you.
There
I think
are
you can.
ways to fake it,
Yes.
but it's like a full X.
Well,
It's a fake.
fake it till you make it. I mean, fake it till you make it makes sense to a point, because at least if you're faking it, you recognize this is what you want it to be, and you're on the path to doing it, right? Whereas if you don't do any of it, then you're nowhere near that.
Okay. I'm going to throw out an
you can tell when
example.
someone's faking. I think you can feel the faking. Oh, wait, sorry, I take that back. I think I can feel the faking, and you guys might be able to feel the faking, but I think a lot of people can't, and they are in fact. They don't realize that people are faking.
Okay. I want to throw a scenario out, right? I'm gonna start moving us like around a little bit if you're okay with that. So
Yeah.
I worked with a guy. His name was David Marquet. He's an ex-captain of a nuclear-powered attack submarine, and so he wrote a book called "Turn the Ship Around." It's a beautiful book, right? I think like the Forbes listed as one of the top 12 best business books like ever written or something like that. Okay. So here's the thing. So he said on the submarine we would have a lot of guests coming in to visit the submarine. They go down the hole and visit the submarine. And he said, this is his problem that he had. He said, typically in the control room, which is where most people wanted to go, it was very, very common for people to be like really slumped over and you're just kind of slumped in your chair. And so he had a thought. He said, what would people have to see to make them believe that this was a professional environment? That was his problem. And he goes, when you see people slumped over, it's like it just sort of took some of even though these guys are highly professional, when you first saw it, it didn't look like that. And so he made one rule, which totally changed everything. He said, I made a rule as captain, because captain, we have it's a different form of leadership because we have the authority to lock you up if you don't follow my rules, right? So it's a little bit more than your standard guy. But he said, the rule I made was your butt has to be in the back of your seat at all times, actually. And just for that single rule, everybody was set up, and all of a sudden now it looked way more professional. So I guess that's what I'm trying to get to. Is it possible to somehow fake it a little bit?
Mm-hmm.
Because I want to fake it as much as I can.
I think the important part of this question is the desire. Is it so that, like Chris said, I'm actually faith Faith. I'm faithing it because I have faith that I'm going to get there.
Oh, yeah.
I'm charging forward. I'm acting as if, which
Yeah,
is a part of the growth.
Right.
That's a difference than I don't have any intention on the work ethic needed to get to that caliber, but I'm going to act like I did.
Well,
I'm going to put on the same food and do all the same
I would
stuff.
also view the faking it as this, right? So we talked earlier about reverse engineering your goal. My goal is to be this, is to have this, therefore I need to be this kind of person, and here's the things I need to do, right? So in this case, you're saying I want to be that successful, ultra charismatic, whatever guy who walks in a room and everyone goes, "Oh, cool dude," right? And you're thinking, well, what does that take? Well, you need to have confidence. You need to have a great stride. You need to dress well. And so you start faking it because you don't feel it yet. But by taking on the trappings, by taking on the attitude, by taking on the behaviors, you begin to take on the actual belief that goes with that behavior.
Yeah.
And I think so, in essence, yes, it's faking it, but it's faking it. It's taking the mental time to figure out what the attributes are of someone in that role, acting that role until you become that role. So it is faking it until it isn't.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah, but I think, maybe the word faking is not the best word, because I think if you don't ever have an intent, that's fake, right? That's a form of dishonesty. But if you're honestly trying to get there, if you have the intention, now you're modeling. Oh, this is what somebody that I want
I'm
to be.
I'm channeling that rich person that I want to be.
Hey, and that makes sense, actually, because, rich people don't have credit card balances that they pay 30% interest on, right? Rich people, well,
they don't make any money. They just have it all.
Well, maybe at the beginning, rich people like, what's his name? I'm losing it now. But he says, Dave Ramsey, he's like, at this point in time, you don't get to have a fancy car, right? Right now, you get a beat up old Pinto, right? Because you can't afford it. And so now instead of wasting it on something that depreciates, you can rechannel that money into an actual asset that will grow and kick cash back. That's what rich people do. So now you're starting to act like a rich person, even though you're not there. One other example, I'm watching this guy, Chad Wright. He's a Navy SEAL. And I just had this epiphany. I heard him last night say this. He said, a lot of people think that I have this level of discipline and competence because I'm a Navy SEAL. And he's like, exactly. He's like, I'm a Navy SEAL because of the discipline.
Well, and what they grew and developed in that process.
Yeah.
Because you didn't start as a Navy SEAL.
No.
You became a Navy, right? And he didn't have the qualities at the beginning. But through the process, through all the, shave off what you're creating the Stone of David, right? Shave off what what needs to not be there. And then you become this, you're the automatic choice. Well, you should have seen me a few years ago.
I want to ask you a question. I was watching Diary of a CEO this week, maybe I think it was, and the woman was coming on talking about how to build wealth and financial security and the like. And she was talking about where she worked. There were two guys in the office, and one guy had the coolest car. He would go on vacations all the time, and they were making good money. It was at Bear Stearns or one of those types of companies, and they were making a lot of money. The guy was spending all his money. The other guy in the office would bring his own lunch. He wouldn't go on vacation anywhere. And you look at it today. He retired early. He lives in a house, and he doesn't have an extravagant lifestyle, but he was able to meet all his goals. The other guy died young, and so then the question was, he actually made. They made the comment on the show like, he made the right choice. In essence, they both made the right choice for themselves, but he made the right choice because he died young. And I immediately hated that idea because to me, it's like, no, it was always the wrong choice to waste that money. You don't know when you're going to die. So he didn't knowingly know I'm going to live to 35 years old. So I'm just going to live life to the fullest. Maybe there is a person like that in the world and they can do that. But honestly, to me, no, he did not live life the right way in my mind, in my value set. And when I think about that, when I heard them say, given his circumstances, he lived life the right way. And I'm like, that feels wrong to me. And I don't know what you guys think about that, but that really rubbed me the wrong way when I heard that.
Yeah, well, it's the same back to the third time around, but enjoy the journey. Yeah. And there is a balance there. And I don't think it's a perfect balance, but I do think, obviously, that it's not like I'm not going to work on my marriage because I'm working on my business. That's Turns out that's the wrong answer.
That's the wrong
Now you'll lose both, right? Or I'm not going to work on this, or I'm not going to work on physicality because I'm gonna do a 10-year stretch of really hard work, and then I'll start exercising. Again, not the right answer. But if you enjoy the journey, like I don't need to enjoy the pain every time, but I can enjoy the process of it, the purpose of it, and in that regard, I can see my self improvements, my team's improvements, the people around my impact in others improving. And by so doing, I make a lot of money, or by so doing, I serve a lot of people. By so doing, whatever my currency is, then great. Because even if I were to, and I guess that, Chris, is the answer, even if I were to pass away tomorrow morning or tonight, I really hope that doesn't happen. But if I did, I've talked to the right people. I've expressed my love to the right people. They know that, not from my words, but from my actions. And I've really focused on faith, family, fitness, and finance, the holistic approach of that. I've had some fun along the way, but I hope it doesn't happen. But if it does, man, that stinks. But I think I'm ready. Now, that's happiness. Period. Happiness, because there's the balance and a serene and a solidarity about that. Like, I'm okay, but until that day happens, man, I'm fighting up the hill. Like, let's go. We got things to do.
Yeah. That makes sense.
I don't know, Scott.
Because then you don't ever know. Like you said, you don't know if you're going to be young, old, rich, poor. I don't know.
You don't know anything. You're not promised anything. Yeah.
It sounded what he just said, what Dan just said, reminded me of something that your old master said, where he was talking about going into the ring and fighting, and that he considered faith a huge aspect of what he did, because he had he had no fear, because he had full faith in his abilities and what was going to come out. And he said if he got hurt or if he died in the ring, it was because that was what was supposed to happen to him, and he was okay with that because he had gotten to a point where he was comfortable in that. And I think there's a level of confidence that goes with that, and obviously different scenarios, but I think that the confidence is you've done what you need to do. You can always do more. There's no doubt you can always do more. But if for some reason your ticket got punched tomorrow, you'd be happy with where you got to.
Yeah. It's positive discontent. I'm positive how far I've made it, but I'm discontent. I'm not happy. I'm not content. So I'm discontent because I still have more to do. If my time is still yet to come, right?
Oh,
the gap versus gain, all that.
Yeah, that's fascinating. That's right, because you still have work to do. Like here's my 2 cents, right? I don't know. Chris is not really a God guy. I'm trying to convert him, but he's just being stubborn for me. This is my belief for every single human being on this planet. If you're still alive, there's something that you need to do. And basically, I'm building on a premise that God allows you to live for a certain reason. There's a reason, and sometimes you may not see it, but it's there somewhere. So anyways, Chris, you may not believe in God, but God believes in you.
There you go. And even if not, there's still some good that can happen.
Yeah.
What was interesting, Chris, don't count my ums here, but I was telling somebody about you and about how thoughtful and thought-provoking you are. Oh, I was telling my guest today, and I said we have a wealth of human capital in that room, and I said, and I actually mentioned Scott because he's going to say something. I don't know what it's going to be yet, but it's going to come off, and it might be a little prickly. But take it, because it's going to be the most valuable you'll get for the rest of the room. For the rest of the time, right? And I said the content we have so much to give, whether it's a simple comment, whether it's an environment, whether it's a piece, whether it's a surety, whether we build an empire, whatever it is, we do have that. I don't care. I do care if there's a God or not, but it doesn't have anything necessarily as bearing to motivate me to do more or less, in my opinion. Now, if I'm stewards, then that does go back to I owe it to him, but I think I owe it to my community, my brothers, my sisters, like my environment here,
your tribe, your humanity, all that. So I want to follow up on the Scott comment here real quick, though. So
and I want to talk about this too, because I want to
After the meeting today, Scott and I stayed on a little bit. We talked, and Scott, what was it you were worried about, Scott?
I was worried about that I offended Hoi Shen because she sent me a little message saying I don't think it's like this and this. And so clearly I feel like
the comment was what? What was your comment?
What was her comment?
What was your comment?
Okay. Here's a. Can I set the stage up just a second, like for people that may know? So Toastmasters is a public speaking training group. I think it's in 100 countries. It's been around for
emphasis on training, not just you go and it's training. It's like evaluations. Training on purpose. Yes,
feedback, speeches and feedback.
Yes,
and it's leadership training, right? It's to be a better communicator, a better speaker,
Absolutely.
And a better leader. Actually, here's my beef with Challenger 734, because I've been a member on and off for like 20 years. And the problem that I see is I don't see a lot of difference in the Challengers today that it was 5 years ago. And that bothers me. It bothers me deeply. And I may have to step up and take a leadership role. And I don't want to do that. I'd rather just bitch and gripe and have somebody else do that.
Way easier.
Way easier. Okay, so you connect. You understand. Because here's what bugs me like crazy, is we're willing to accept the fact that our meetings are not filled out beforehand. And we can get by with it because, yeah, we're good. We're really good, and we can fill roles in dynamically, and people step up, actually. And it's cool that we can do that, but we're not operating at our full potential, actually.
So a little more context for our audience. So there is an agenda that's pretty much similar at all meetings, and you have speakers, and you have a bunch of different things that happen, and that's set every week. People are assigned every week, and sometimes they can't make it, and they drop out, and then we have to do last-minute fill-ins, and sometimes there's a lot of those, and they can be annoying. And that's what Scott's talking about, is we should be better at making sure we show up for these things the way we say we're going to.
Yeah. Just other things, like we're happy or we're content with hitting 9 out of our 10 points instead of hitting 10 out of 10, actually. We should be hitting 10 out of 10 every single time, actually, without question, actually. That bugs me. It doesn't bug me that we hit 9. It bugs me that we're okay with 9. Oh, 9, we're in the President's Distinguished Club, right? We got 9. We're in the club. That drives me crazy, actually, because I think there's so much more that we could have. It drives me insane that Jamar has to beg and plead, please, I'm going to set a new format. Can you guys please fill it out within 5 days? Man, we should be on that in a day or two, right?
Okay, so Scott,
that drives me crazy.
With that in perspective, what did you say today?
What I said today, following on Dan's previous meeting comment, that was, this is the lowest energy meeting I've ever been to before, which I absolutely 100% agree. I can't remember what my comment was, but I think it was something along the line that I think this is probably one of the worst run meetings that I think I've ever seen for Challenger 734, actually.
Yes, and then the other member felt the need to defend the club by saying, no, we're actually run very well, and the fact that we still run is testament to the fact that we're good at what we do. But it seemed to upset them, and I think this is where I thought it was interesting, because when you said that, I knew where you were coming from.
Yeah.
But I understood your context. I think in the back of your mind, you understand that the club is actually one of the better clubs out there.
Oh,
it runs really
it's a
well by itself.
phenomenal
We
club.
we are at the top, near the top of clubs. And
Yeah.
so when you're criticizing, you're saying we could do better. We did a bad job today comparatively. Because we were thrown off our game because we had a ceremony that had to be done, and it threw us off our game. I get that, and timing wise. I understood the context. So
it's not like we haven't done that same ceremony 50 times before,
but Scott, I knew where you were coming from, so I wasn't offended when you said that. I didn't feel the need to defend how we did our work when you said that. Someone else, though, doesn't understand that you're coming from the context that we are good. We're good at our crap that we do. And therefore, when you're criticizing, you're saying we could do better. That's a totally different thing than just saying we did a bad job today.
Okay, you're absolutely right. So now
so the context wasn't there. And I think so much of when I communicate and it comes across badly, when you communicate, it's like I actually think we're very capable of a lot of things. When I'm on a team and I know that we got a hard thing to do, I assume we're going to get that project done.
Right.
but I never state that. So I start going into, we got to do this and we got to do that, and then this is going to happen and that's going to happen, and all they hear is all these negative hurdles that I'm throwing in the way, without me establishing from the first get-go, we can do this. It's something we can do. Here's the challenges we're going to have to meet. And so by not stating the obvious context that's in my head, I'm not communicating well to the other person. All they hear is the negative.
Yeah. And that is what I've got to work on, actually, because I know I was talking to Jamar right before this call, and Jamar is he's a big player in our Toastmasters group. He's a very important person. And he was telling me that leadership, and I believe what he's saying, I need to think this through, but leadership is the most important thing, because if you don't have a good leader, I mean, nothing works. I mean, yeah, you need technical competence, you need a bunch of other things, man. The leadership is a big deal. I may have to step up and help provide some leadership, right? I may have to do that. But I put my time in already, man. I've been president for 3 terms or 4 terms and I'm over it, and I should be giving other people a chance to do that. And I don't want to do the work, and I don't want to take the responsibility and all this other stuff.
Part of the time, though, and I've given you guys some leeway here, that sometimes the group needs the leader. You know where I'm going.
No, I don't.
Sometimes the leader needs the group.
Yeah.
I wrote down, I need to work to be better at that part of the communication.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
yes.
What is a better environment? Are we to teach technicalities and all? Yeah, sure. But we're also just to level up. So those who are brand new, you learn all those little things.
Yeah.
Those of us who have been around for a minute and been president and all the other things, whatever Chris has been done, his resume is twice as long as anything I've ever seen. Then great. We still, though, I imagine we can go the expert level. We can go not to the technical, not to the passionate, but to the dogfight, and that's the last 10% to be really expert, world class, individually, and hopefully level up everybody else because we're the leader and pulling everybody up with us.
Yeah, so I'm going to need your help in doing that, especially in the communication thing, because I know one thing that you're good at, and especially Jamar is good at, he's so encouraging, and he never insults, but he gives a really clear thing. It's like, I don't even know the words he uses, but
he calls people out.
He calls you, but it's with love wrapped around it.
Yeah,
right?
It's make a deposit and then the withdrawal, not the other way around. Now, like, hey, I'm here to make a withdrawal. I'm sorry, who are you? Do you have an account here? Because, you need to set that precedent up, even in the moment. Maybe you've been here for 47 years. I don't know. But all the new people here, they don't know that. So you come in, make a withdrawal, then you get little messages.
Yeah.
And again, to that message, this isn't about the message, in my opinion, because truth is, if you don't stand for anything, you'll fall for anything, right? Like that, if you don't stand for something, you're going to fall for anything. We all know that. Yeah. But because you're going to push people away, and that's fine. I wish it didn't happen, but it's going to happen because I'm going to stand for something, and you are too. And some people, regardless of the magical word choice that we pick, it's going to tee them off. But and we're going to attract some. Those are the ones I'm concerned about. I'm gonna speak from my heart, and I'm gonna try to get better and better and better every week. But at the end of the day, some people aren't gonna agree with me. All right, but you know what I stand for, don't you?
Yeah, and I don't have a problem with that. I just don't want to be rude or crass.
Correct, and that's my point. Don't be a rock, and I'm not changing how I am. So you guys all adopt to me. No. I'm still trying to be better, and because of that. So
yeah, because yeah. Go ahead, Chris. Sorry,
but Scott, I think by communicating it better,
yeah,
you're already thinking a thing that you're already in a positive mindset to begin with.
Exactly.
We're a good club.
That's what I was going to say too. Yeah.
Oh,
that needs to come through so that when the criticism comes out, they understand that it's not from a I hate the world kind of aspect, but it's like I want to make it better aspect.
Yeah. In fact, I love the world, and I see greatness. That's where it's coming from.
Yeah.
So every time you hear criticism from me, it's not because I want to pick on you. It's because I want to make it better. I want to make it incredible. I want to make it stand out. And that isn't coming through in the way you communicate or the way I communicate because we're not taking the time to explain where we're at. We just assume, let's go. I got to get there as fast as possible. So I'm going to run over there without telling you where we're at right now.
Yeah.
Right?
That's my mistake. That's right.
Yeah.
That makes sense. And Chris, it was so crazy because you've been area director before, and it's like, let me tell you something. I was area director. I got to visit like whatever 5 clubs or something like that, and some of the clubs I'm like, I don't have anything to say. I mean, you guys are disasters. It's like
they're struggling. They're struggling just to get one speaker. Yeah, they're struggling just to get one speaker to show up, right? And we're here complaining that we can't get the third one to show up all the time. It's
exactly.
So that's the teach, not tell. So same in our arena. Shameless plug for how there's different ways to do it. You can do this. You can teach, like, you should do this. You should do this. Or tell, like, you should do this, you do that, right? Like, all right, instantaneous. I don't care how confident we are. I'm already about to break that finger off. I don't care whose finger it is.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. Yeah,
like, right?
Yeah.
And same thing with finance, right? Well, I see it. Truth be told, after we combine everything, they see it. So, right? So let's teach. Let's empower.
My gosh, yes.
Let's
And
elevate.
Scott, you said you want to be a teacher.
I know that is sorry to be pointing my finger at you, but yes, that's exactly right. Because I think of the speech. Who was it? Martin Luther King. I mean, that speech was beautiful. It was like, I see a world where I lay the vision out. That was leadership, and where you instead of like shaming people, you literally draw people into your vision.
He could have said, we have institutional racism, we have Jim Crow law. He could have said all those things.
And it was all true.
Instead, he said, over here, this is what I want. This is, we're going to have to deal with that, but you know what? I don't need to bring you down. I want you to bring you up, right? And
I don't know if you guys heard or not, but there's 5 points in our analysis, and the first just teasing this exactly. It's dreams.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, I don't care if I have a dream. I care if you do. And in fact, you need to, what I say, flex that muscle again, because sometimes their future is Friday. That's as far as they can see. They're fighting to Friday, and they're mourning and scared about Monday because they have to do it all over again. I had a father who said, I make the bacon, my wife cooks the bacon, my kids eat the bacon, and then I go out and do it again. Right? And so that cycle, and then this Dan guy says something about dreaming. Are you kidding me? I'm sorry, I'm not, I understand the word, but not I'm sorry, I haven't done that in a while.
I know, it's like, Dan, I'm just trying to live, right? Yeah, exactly. I don't have time to dream. Yeah, exactly. No,
well, because if you say it, or if you're excited about something, that's vulnerable. Excitement is vulnerability. So if you're like, hey, I'm excited to do X. Well, if you don't do X, that means you either failed or you didn't do it.
And yet excitement is what connects.
That's right.
I mean, I find it silly. I don't consider myself that excitable. At the end of the day,
but if you get me, but just expressed differently, I'm sure. But anyway.
But if you get me on certain topics, I will go deep. I'll go on and I'll talk about. And you can tell how interested I am in it by that, and other people can pick up on that. So I really don't consider myself an AI expert, and yet when I talk to other people, I mean, they're just like, oh my god,
yeah,
Chris, you get excited about making a flute out of a piece of PVC pipe. I mean, come on.
Yeah. Yes.
And that's my not problem, but that's we learned this early on that who needs what, well, you guys, what I do, but who needs what my bride and I do, what Julie and I do? Who needs it? Well, anyone who spends money or makes money should have a conversation about money. Okay, great. So that turns out a lot of people. Okay, but now a separate question, clear that one off. How many people, and Julie references it like this, it's like pulling a scale out, setting it down, having it broadcast on a Megatron over here or whatever.
Yeah.
And you're standing, and it's your weight, and there's like 500 people in front of you, and you're in your bikini because you're very insensitive or insecure about how you look. That's what a financial needs analysis feels like. And she's like, who wants to do that? Anyone? No, nobody. Surprised. Nobody. So we have to convert it.
Yeah.
And realize it's not about the numbers. Like we were talking about the disconnect, right? And it's the same thing. It's disconnect between, Toastmasters and your comment. I'm trying to make it better. It's not about you being good or bad. It's about all of us leveling up. It's about not where you are, but where you can be. Let's get started. What if? Let's play the what if guide, most powerful 2 words. What if? What if this? What if that? Can you even imagine? Like, I don't know. Can you imagine this? How would you feel if, what if? What if you had no debt? I don't know. Maybe it's not possible, but what if? Let's play the what if game. It doesn't hurt anybody. What if? You had $10,000 sitting in the bank. You had no debt. What if? I don't know. Maybe you can't do it. But if you could.
Yeah. What if?
Good.
What if? Yeah.
Ooh. I mean, okay. You dwell there and you take out the outside world just for a moment. You go sit in your car and just think for a little bit. You go under a tree, you do something. You play the what if game. You do that for 15 minutes a day. Woo! Everything changes. Now you go find the people that can help you make those changes from here.
Yes, because you can see it. You can see the picture. I may not know how to get there, but at least I can see it.
That's right. And you won't get there until you see it. That's
the
why
first step. You have
Martin
to
Luther
go
King started with "I have a dream." You have to see it. Let me show you the dream. Let me explain the dream, so you can see what I saw. Because that's the direction I'm going. Do you want to go the same direction? Let's at least make sure we're going in the same direction. Because once you're there, unfortunately, I'm going to put the dream down for a minute. Like, stay with me. I'm going to put it down. Now there's some things we needed to go work on. Now there's some work associated. Now I have to go. I gotta go pick it. I gotta go do this. I got bus boycott. I gotta do that. But remember the dream. This is why. Okay, we're still there. But this is now the hard part because it's worth it. Not if it's easy or hard. It's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah. And it's amazing. It's amazing. Even the hardest things are those big dreams that you think are impossible. Sometimes I'm amazed at how quickly you can get there with the right leadership and with the right plan.
Absolutely.
I mean, I hear Dave Ramsey talking about people that are in this like insane amounts of debt, and they're out of debt in like 6 or 7 months. And I'm like, how's that even possible?
Yeah.
You know, I'm like, oh, but then they do this and they stop doing that and they sell all these things they have and they go get a second job and they work like crazy. And 6 months later, they're like out of debt. I'm like, holy crap. That's like practically unbelievable. Yeah. That's power though. Because now imagine, let's say you take somebody that's $100,000 in debt and they have no money to give you, zero money, but you move them to zero. It's like now you can start reallocating all those things that you're paying the debt load. Now you can actually maybe start investing some of that stuff.
Yeah, that's what I'm like. I want you to pay $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. They're like, wait, I thought you wanted me to get out of debt. I do. You didn't hear me right. I want you to pay $1,000 a month for the rest of your life. Just not to build his dreams. I want you to build your own. Literally. Right. And I have a chart here. Now you're interested in charts, I see. Okay, game on. Now I have a chart here because in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, not just the 1,000 linear, but compounding. Now we're on to something. Now you excited about doing that? Okay, we'll put the chart away, the dream away. Yeah. Now let's go get to work and get after it.
Now think about that, Dan. Think about the level of trust that if you don't make a single penny and you invest your time to move somebody from -100 to zero, actually.
Oh yeah.
I mean, they're done. They're giving you all their money at that point. They're like, you spent that time with, right? There's no way they're going to leave you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We talk about it's not a vision problem. I think it is a vision problem usually, but sometimes it's not a vision problem. Listen to this. This is actually pretty powerful. So it's not like I can't see it. I can't play the what if game because some people can, but it's not a vision problem. It's a depth perception problem. It's how far away is it? It's like, yeah, I'll be out of debt someday. Oh, I'll do that thing someday. Someday, yeah, I'll totally do that thing. I'll totally get started someday. But they don't realize. If you get the right people in your world, the right habits in your world, if you have the right habit and understanding and knowledge in your world, then that depth perception, not 5, 10, 16 years, but 5, 10, 16 months.
Yeah,
you can see that outcome. That's the depth. So it's closer. It's a far side, near side problem, and you can same goal, but you can condense time frames now more than ever. There's more resources now. You're more qualified now. You know more people now. You have more experiences now than ever before in your life. You do, I do, Chris does, everybody. Yeah, because you're better qualified today than you ever have been. The problem is we keep judging last year's, 10 years ago self on today's self. Well, that was a different human. I was doing the best I could do with what I had. I didn't know then what I know now.
Yeah,
I'm better qualified now to make those changes that we're talking about better than I've ever been before.
Yeah.
What if we do?
That's hope. That is combining like hope and faith together. Those are some faith
in action. Because if you can hope and pray and do all the things, but now apply it and get excited. Now you gamify it. Now you're like, well, now it's not a little dream board with magazine cutouts up there. That's cute and all, but like, and I'm excited about the not perfection, but progress.
Yeah.
I can progress. I should be here by here, and you gamify it. You're like,
Yeah.
man, every win is a win. That's right. It's not the destination, but it's a freaking win. We're making good time. We're on the right road, making great time.
Okay, but okay. I think that's fine, except for one thing, actually.
Don't hurt my feelings.
I'll try not to. I'm gonna try to be nice. Try as much as I can. You know what Yoda thinks about trying.
No promises. No promises.
I can't make any commitments. But here's the thing that I've struggled with. Yeah, I understand you can make that thing work. But there's a difference. It's like that is not possible for me. And it's like I don't believe that it's even possible. Yeah. And if that's your mental state, you won't even try. You won't even take your first stab at it, you know? And how do you get around that? I think you need to have, you know, I know what it is. You need to have somebody else with more faith in you than you have in yourself at that moment.
Yes.
You have somebody
but you can't tell them that they're worthy. You need to show them. You can't tell them that they deserve greatness. You need to show them, not show them, but them show themselves by you give them this marker and then they do it. And that marker, they do it. They don't right. Don't give them this one. It's too big.
Oh, too big. Yeah.
You give them this one, and they did. I mean, it's kind of goofy. It's like, duh, I can do that. Why are you being okay? Well, just play along with me. What about this? Yeah, I can do that. Come on. Now you're being goofy. Come on. Okay. Well, and you're like, hey, give me a minute. Now look back how far you come.
Yeah.
And now they've already had the progress and the momentum, the very next step. Don't run the marathon. Go find your shoes. Can you find your shoes? It's not a will or not a can or can't. Like I can't do it. It's a will or won't. Like that's a decision, not an ability.
It's a decision.
You stack those up. Now you're a different human. You have different reality.
How powerful this is, the stuff we're talking about? I mean, this is massively powerful.
So one thing that I saw a quote on LinkedIn that was talking about the power of being able to learn, right? There's the capacity to learn, the ability to learn, and the desire to learn, right? And it was a quote by I forgot what the guy's name, but Frank Herbert's kid. Now, Frank Herbert wrote the book Dune. And in the book Dune, there's a quote that I love where it says, Muad'Dib, who's the main character, learned how to learn from a young age. But the first lesson he learned was that he could learn. And I think this is something where so many people, I can't do that.
Yeah, right.
They have an inherent mental block. They have it's the fixed thinking versus growth thinking, right? Mindset. It's, I can't do that. And I've never understood how that can go into the mind of a child, because a child can do anything. So where in our life do we get to the point where I can make this, I can make that, I can use Legos, I can do this, I can build a sandcastle, I can run around? Where do we get to the point where I can't do that? Because at the core of my belief is I can do any of it. Whether it's worth my time, whether it's worth the pain I'm going to have to go through, that's a different equation. But I know I can do anything, right? Barring the laws of physics. But I mean, that to me, it was so obvious. So whenever I'm talking to someone and I'm trying to get them to think in a particular way, saying, you need to restate this in a way that presents yourself in a better light. You need to quantify the impact of the work you did at that job. You need to, whatever it is I'm saying, it's like, you can do this. And they're like, oh, no, that's not how I work. That's not my job. That's not how I think. That's not, in my job description. I'm like, you don't get it. There is no limit to what you can do except what you choose to do. And you've chosen not to, that there's a limit. And I'm like, that's your choice to have a limit. There's no reason at all for you to have one.
Hang on. I'm going to push back on that a little bit, because like I witnessed like several years ago, there was a family with a young kid. I don't know how, maybe 4, 5, 6 years old, something like that. Actually, he spilled water on the table, and literally his dad went ape crap on him. I can't believe you did. You can't do anything right. You can't even keep a water glass from spilling. You're like worthless. And literally he was just berating the kid. like out in the middle of public, actually. Just that one time, and I'm sure it happened more than that. I mean, if you have that software going in your head, Chris, I don't know how it's possible to get around that, you know? I mean, without some other forces counteracting that. I mean, that kid thinks he's worthless, actually, because his dad tells him probably on a daily basis what a disaster he is.
Okay. But I'm going to ask you, do you think that kid can't do it, or do you think that kid believes he can't do it?
Yeah, the kid believes he can. Of course he could do. I mean, he can't do anything.
So I come from the default thinking that any humans are capable of anything.
Amazing.
That's just my default belief.
Phenomenal.
Right?
Things. Yes.
And
right.
so if I have that belief, when I run across someone who doesn't think that way, it's like, no, I've got to get you to believe that humans can do anything, and then you to acknowledge that you are a human and that you can do anything, and whatever programming is in the way, whatever life experience is in the way, whatever Freudian excuse you have for the trauma in your life that makes you limited in the way you are, you've got to address that. I can't address it for you. You've got to address that. But the first thing you've got to believe is that humans are capable of anything.
But here's
if you
the
believe
thing.
that, then you got a starting point.
Yes, I 100% agree with you. But Chris, I think it's harder than that. I think what you've got to do is like consider you're the Starship Enterprise. You've got to take that belief shield and you've got to extend your belief around them for a second, where you believe in them, where your belief outpowers their anti-belief in themselves, right?
No, that makes sense. I mean, the idea then, so this is where we're getting into EQ and empathy and being able to talk to someone, being able to compliment them, being able to pull them up, push them up, prop them up, whatever it takes for them for that moment to believe that they can do it.
Yeah, and then you give them one tiny success, and it might be keeping the water glass on the table the whole meal without spilling it over, because you've got to give them proof that it's like, see, you just did that. You can do that. There's
level up to that.
Yeah.
Because you can say the words, but until they feel the words, until those words are their words. And you know, like, thank you, Chris, for believing in me, but you know, I'm so sorry. It's just false, right? Until at least it'll at least get me to try something. Now, but we got to get them out of the wrong environment. And that's part of this problem, right? Because the environment, right? It's like you know these things. I was told that that we're only born with two fears. I think there's more than that, and I understand. I can do some more research, but the two main ones. Let's go with that: falling and loud noise. Falling and loud noise.
Yeah.
What is not a fear is that I can't succeed, or that I can't keep a glass of water on the table, or that I can't build a business, or like all of those are taught.
Yeah.
All of those are environmental. And so if that's the case, then hopefully your ground zero, your center point, we can hopefully get back to that and then rebuild again. Now, we have to scrape off all the garbage that's been tacked onto you, but hopefully if we can, maybe share some of Chris or Scott's belief, and at least enough for me to go find my tennis shoes. I can't run a marathon. You guys are crazy. But if I can find my tennis shoes, if I can run down the street, I can do a lap or two. Turns out, if I can do a lap or two, maybe I can do a lap or 3 or 4. So then that's where that grows. Yeah. And I think that's exactly right, Scott. And I found myself, the voices that we hear from outside, from the Father to the Son, and we see that. And if that doesn't make you, I'll use the word irate inside, like, let me at him.
I was so close to getting up.
It does, right?
Oh
if
my gosh, yeah.
A hole in your chest, like I'm like trying to stay down because he's actually not here. I'm just imagining him here. But the truth, and this is the transition here. This is a powerful transition. The scary thing about that, the scary thing is that Father that we can't stand to even hear about him. The Father that I'm not a violent man, but I want to punch him in the throat. That guy?
Yeah.
His voice, not him, but his voice is also located where?
In the kid's head.
In the kid's head, and in yours and mine and Chris's. Now, not to that extreme, maybe, but every time we try something, our brain has one function: it's to save and protect us from peril, from hardship or heartache, from failure. And that voice is right here, maybe muted, maybe quieter, maybe not.
Yeah.
But it's right there. And so we need to acknowledge and at least pull it out and look at them and know that that's that. That's not me. It's not who I am. It's a voice. And so they say, stop listening to yourself, start talking to yourself, because I have more control over what I say than what those little voices are in my head. And so that's the transition.
Okay, so do you think that's possible to do by yourself, or is it?
I think potentially possible, but ridiculously easier if there's someone else.
Yeah, someone else to extend their like influence.
Exactly what you said before.
The shield's
100%.
over you, right?
So whose job is it? Well, yes.
Yeah,
Chris, Scott, Dan, Bob, Curly, and Mo, all of y'all, right? And again, Ed Milet says, you are best qualified. You, me, everybody. We are best qualified to do what? To help those people who are where we used to be. We are best qualified to help those people who are currently where we used to be. And that goes for, people who drink too much alcohol, people who are gambling addicts, people who are in debt, people who are winning but not winning high enough, people who want to speak in front of people but they can't. I used to be there. Let me serve and help you. Let me extend just a little bit of hope, because if I can do it, you can do it, and let me show you how.
That's amazing. I remember, I'm going to go off on a tangent just for a second. I remember the first time I spoke at Toastmasters. That's when we had in-person meetings. I was literally like dripping sweat.
Yeah.
And my legs were like literally shaking. And you know what? And I'm sure my speech was an utter disaster. But it's like Toastmasters, everybody's like clapping.
Yep.
And I'm like, oh.
Did you see what I saw? Because that wasn't clapworthy.
Yeah. And I think that I'm starting to see the value of Toastmasters now, because even if you give a really crappy speech, it's like
you did it.
You did it.
You went through the motions.
You went through the motions, and 10 speeches from now, you're going to get better. And 100 speeches from now, you're going to probably get really good at speaking.
That's right.
But there's no way to get to really good without going through speech number one. There's I don't know.
There's no elevator. You don't fall to the top of the mountain. You climb.
Right.
You have to. You want the views up there, but you can't fall to the top. You have to climb, fall, climb, stumble, climb, rock, traverse, maybe get lifted by a couple people. But eventually you get up there without your knees shaking or sweat pouring down your face, and you didn't even realize it. You sat down, you're like, my shirt's still dry. Look at that.
I made it. And then you're like, okay, what's the next one? Now we got to climb. Now
I'm ready for bigger and better. What's the next one? That's exactly right.
Okay.
So one of the things we have to think about is even the child who doesn't have a parent who's yelling at them can get set in a fixed mindset, right? Sure. The idea that it's outcome, it's performance, it's not the learning, it's the knowing that gets rewarded, right? Did you get 100 on your test? All I care about is the score you get, not the resilience and the ability to learn. And it's the ability to learn. And I don't know why I got that. I don't think my parents ever really gave me this viewpoint on this. I think this is a lot more of my living in my own head and self-reflection than anything else. This is why I love Adlerian psychology over Freudian psychology, because it's really about you making yourself into who you want to be. And that it's all on you in essence. I mean, it's not, but it's all on you in essence. And trauma is your excuse to be lazy, as opposed to the reason why you are the way you are. So,
you just lost half of your listeners. But yes.
Oh, no. The trauma in your life. No, but think about this. That is so empowering. It means that the fact that you are the way you are because you had this big trauma in your life is you using that as an excuse to saying, oh, this happened in my life and therefore I'm this way, instead of saying this happened in my life and I'm still going to be the way I want to be. I'm still going to become, because you know people who had trauma who suffer the rest of their life, and people who went through trauma and become greater people because of it, right? What is the difference between those two people? What makes one person, overcome their trauma and others subsume to their trauma? And so I think what it is this idea that you have the power to do this. Some people need help doing that, and I think that's what you guys are getting at. Some people maybe don't. They've got the whatever mental resilience or the thought process to get to a point where they don't. But at the end of the day, getting to a point where you let go your trauma in essence is saying the trauma isn't going to make me who I am. I'm going to make myself who I am.
Okay.
And so it's all about empowerment. And to me, that is so powerful.
Okay, Chris, I gotta throw in this because you want comments. You're gonna get comments over that one, actually. But here's the thing, and we got to make this very, very clear. We are not talking about somebody that is having a really hard time or difficulty going up to what we consider to be an average level of person, right? I mean, you need to get help, professional help, therapy. We're not therapists, and I'm not qualified to give that help. In this particular case, at least what I'm talking about is going from you're good, like Toastmasters, to now we're going to improve you. Now we're going to make you.
Well, in any stage, from bottom to middle or middle to top or top to world class, I think you do need help. I think potentially you need professional help, sincerely, right?
No,
I think
you're
from
right,
every
you're
stage and every level, from the bottom to the top, Michael Jordan didn't get less coaches. He got more coaches as he got up to the top, right? Especially at the bottom. But you're right. There are professionals that can provide the help that you internally know you deserve. Yeah. And that's a part of Chris doesn't say you can win and you can conquer the world just by sheer will and grit.
Oh, no.
But I understand that, right? So just go find the help you need because you deserve to receive it and you deserve to feel better about it.
But the question is, do you just put up with the fact that this is where I'm at because of my life and the way I've lived it? Or do you say, I can get better, I want to be better, I will be better, and then you go find the tools you need, the people you need to do it. So it's not a matter of you by yourself can do anything, but I guess maybe that's what I said. It's a matter of you by yourself deciding to get it done.
Well,
or accepting that you're not going to get it done.
It's still you doing it. Mm-hmm. I don't care if you have a coach or a therapist or whatever, a pastor. Those are wonderful influences on what? On me doing what I need to do. They don't have, they don't have a shot or whatever. They don't have anything to make me better. I do the action. They're guides. They're supporters. They allow to be with you on that path. But you have to walk the path. That's the hardship.
You have to walk the path. And if you're in, let's say we take this example of like you're being abused or something like that. I mean, that's hard to walk on your own. So then the first step is then a proper licensed therapist like Andrew would have to remove that person from the really bad negative environment. So at least nothing's really bad. So then they give them a chance to walk that path, right? Because I'll tell you something. I want to go into like this. I don't know why I'm saying this. I'm just going to say it. So I used to always get mad at women, right, that are in abusive relationships. And I'm like, just freaking leave. How hard can that be? Just leave, right? And I'm telling you, it's hard because I was in a relationship, being the dude, basically being who I am right now, with a woman who was mentally abusing me. And I can understand, and unless I was in this, I'm so glad I went through this actually, I could not believe how beat down my mental state was because she would constantly critique me on things. Oh, you're no good. You can do. And I started to believe it. I go, God, maybe I am no good. Maybe I am a disaster. Like, and all of a sudden you start going down this pathway, and you're like, maybe she's right, And it's like, holy Toledo's! I had no idea that somebody else could influence you at that level in a negative way.
So Scott, but your comment, people staying in abusive relationships, even if you have someone coming in and pulling him out of that situation, if they don't want to be out of that situation, they're going back to the situation. Oh, you still have to want to do it. So instead of accepting the fact that this is the way my life is because of my past experience, you have got to make a conscious effort to say, I want it to be different.
You have to be, but you need a lot of help. I mean, because you are so beat up, you're so beat down.
You could, right? I'm not going to argue that aspect of it, but what at the end of the day is, if you aren't willing to make the change, it doesn't matter how much help you get.
No, and we see that pattern happening all the time. You could have a woman that has been in several abusive relationships, and she'll be in a room of 99 good men, and she'll go to that one bad man every single time. It's crazy, that pattern. Yeah.
Now if I can elevate maybe as far as the dark and dreariness of this, because the concepts I want to hold on to. Yeah. And I'm actually being pretty serious about this. the concepts. And now we see that, and some of us understand it more than others. And I'm not going to go into this. We're not going to go down this road, but I'm telling you right now, there's a book being written. It's almost done, and it's by my wife. And she has, in the title of the book, "No one is coming to save you."
Yeah.
No one is coming to save you. Now, that's all I'm going to say about that. You can read into it as much as those you want about everything you just said, just saying that. And then, and beyond that, I want to say, for those who gratefully don't completely understand all the nuances of all those things, gratefully, we've been blessed, they've been blessed, whoever. The truth is, it's not them and us. It's not the lady who, finds the bad, and then there's me. Good thing I don't have to deal. Yes, you do. Because in my world, and in all of our worlds, what are the things right now that we are stuck in? Mm-hmm. Maybe because of our environment, because of the friendships that we've chosen, conscious or subconscious, to have in our influence, the habits, conscious or subconscious, that we're choosing to continue, that are not getting us to the outcome we want, whether that's outcome, get out of abusive relationship, outcome, not having financial security, outcome, not being physically fit, outcome, not having a world-class marriage, outcome, fill in the blank. Because now we can apply every one of those deep, dark, horrible conversation pieces in a piece or a big piece to what I'm consciously doing. If I haven't taken inventory, because the truth is, the worst compliment you can ever get, it's a backhanded compliment, is, and Chris, I'm not giving this to you, but I'm gonna, as an example, real quickly here, let's role play real quick, is this one comment, one sentence. "Chris, you have such great potential. Look at you." Meaning, you've basically sucked up until now, but you could have won. You could have won, but look at potential. Don't say it again, because, right? And so the truth is, we do. And whether someone says it to us or not.
Scott used the word potential earlier today.
And that's, the truth is, and again, and they don't mean it as being harsh. They don't, or maybe not. But the truth is, we need to evaluate to myself, and I'll stop here because I want to hear what you say, Chris. I mean, the truth is, Dan has so much potential that Scott, you have so much, like Chris, right? So now, if that's the case, if that's true, which it is true.
It's true.
Why haven't I hit it yet? There are specific answers. And Scott, to your knee-jerk reaction, which you corrected, but your knee-jerk reaction, why don't they just do this?
Yeah, right.
Let me ask myself, why don't I just do this?
Yeah.
That's where I'll end.
So Dan, obviously, the more you're capable of, the more potential you have, right? Because it's like when you're down here, this is your potential is pretty small. But as you level up, your potential just gets bigger and bigger and bigger. So it's always true that you have potential. Sure. No, but Scott was making the comment, and again, we were trying to frame his earlier comment in the Toastmasters group, where I said, Scott, you're coming from a sense that this club is a great club. We just did a bad job today of running the club, it, right, is what he meant to say. And he goes, no, the club is potentially a great club. And I said, you got to drop the potential because it's an insult.
Yeah. Okay. I hear you. Okay. I learned a lot. Yes. Okay. I just want to say one more thing. Right? Because this is what we do. Chris and I like to argue about things.
Because I'm right.
Yeah, I do agree.
I can agree with you, but then we'd both be wrong.
Yeah. Exactly. So I do agree with you, but there's certain times when you can be so low that there's so many things stacked against you that you need help desperately. Like, yes. I'm gonna give you an example. If, for instance, you get shot and you're bleeding and you don't have a tourniquet, actually, you will die in a few minutes unless you get medical help right now. There's no talking about, what were you saying before? It's like, oh, I can do this, or I can't remember what it was, or I've got to dig deep, because you're not thinking clearly at that point. I mean, you're just not.
Well, you can dig deep. The physicality, like you were saying, the physics of it, you're going to bleed out. That is what it is.
You need help.
The physics, the reality of the situation is you can't ignore.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I guess I want to group these this logic, and I think you can apply it to any scenario. But in my mind, if you're in really bad shape, trying to just kind of walk around and recover again, that's a different sort of thing than if you're an average person and you're doing okay, but now you want to move to the next level up. I think that's different, right?
It is different, but I do think, and this is not common practice or belief, I believe, turns out we all need coaches. In fact, as we level up, we need more, not less.
Yeah,
coaches.
yeah.
So
yeah.
it's not like when I'm not doing well, I need help. It's when I'm not doing well, I need help.
Yeah.
When I'm doing well, I need help. When I'm excelling, I need help.
Yeah.
Call it whatever you want to call it, but I need support. I need an extra set of eyes. I need some new perspectives. I need my actions to be questioned. I need all of those things so that I can keep, iron sharpens iron to improve. To your point, absolutely, from negative to even neutral, let alone from neutral to positive.
Yeah, exactly. And I've been really searching for this. I need a coach, actually, and I don't know who the right coach is for me. I'm not sure. So I don't know if we could talk about that some. I mean, how do you find a good coach? Because for me, I'm pretty darn stubborn, and I need somebody that knows how to deal with me and knows how to handle me. And there's not a lot of people, I think, that know how to handle me. But that's in my mind. I don't know. I could be making that up. So is there any input on that? And can we generalize this to our audience? For how do you find a good coach?
I think it's categorically. I think it's not one coach to rule them all. See what I did there? I don't think that's the case. But
so you need 9 coaches with 1 coach to rule them all.
That's right. Yeah. I think you're right. You have to find, even in those categories, you can find the one that, because it's your own board of directors. I was talking to a family, they don't own a business. A lot of my clients are business owners and what have you, but they don't own a business. I said, let's talk about your P&L statement. Yeah. And he's like, well, I don't have a profit and loss. I'm like, you have a home, right? You have income, you have expenses. I'm sorry, let me rephrase that. It's that B word. It's that budget, and I know you don't like that, so I won't say it, right? And so, but but you need to have an evaluation. You have a board of directors, just like you would as a business. You wouldn't, you need different points of view for different aspects of your business. You need different points of view from different aspects of your life, and you find the right people and then you build that relationship, not a transactional relationship, but a long-term one. And that point, they know you know them, you see their goals, you're in alignment there, and personality-wise, right? They don't work with you despite your personality. Sometimes they'll work with you because of your personality, and you're driven to find the right answers and take action. Because a lot of people will be yes men, not you. They'll be, yeah, let's do that, yeah. And then they meet again, nothing's changed.
Yeah, right.
Who do you think they'd rather work with, that guy or you? All day long, you. Because you're going to say what you think. And there's no question. It's easy. You're making it super easy for everybody involved. Now, are you a jerk sometimes? Yep. But all day long, we know exactly what expectations are, and you do too. And you're going to say, I'm going to do it or I'm not going to do it. I'll tell you to your face. I'd rather work with that guy all day.
Yeah, because there's truth. There's honesty.
There's truth. Clarity.
Yeah, Scott, I one of the things I did several months ago for fun was to create a bunch of coaches as custom GPTs.
Yeah.
And I sat down with AI and I said, okay, I want to build a coaching team.
Yeah.
What do I need in the way of a coaching team? And it offered like 5 or 6 different areas, right?
Yeah.
So for finance, they didn't just say you need a financial coach. They wanted a wealth coach for mindset. So the finances was the process of building finance. The other one was the wealth mindset. So it actually suggested 2 different coaches for that. And then I brought up things like emotional intelligence as its own type of coach, as well as career strategist. And then it designed it such as there's a master coach with 8 coaches underneath it. Is really what it created for me. And so I actually have 9 GPTs that are technically each a separate coach. Then I went ahead and created one for research, because you know how I love to dive deep into stuff. And then I created one as a biographer. And the biographer was the most interesting one for me because I realized I'm really bad at remembering stories of things that happened in my life. So I just talk and narrate to it, and it's able to put it together into a illogical flow. But then I can go back and remember things. I can ask it, what happened to this? When about that? Or I want an anecdote for a Toastmasters speech, and I can ask it. So I found it interesting to be able to pawn some of this off on the AI, not the human reaction, but the kind of the recording aspect, and to get just immediate feedback. I actually think this might be a really good tool to have for someone in emergency crisis situations where they can't get a hold of a person, to have something to talk to.
Dan, let me fill you in on this. So I've decided that I want to upgrade to the premium plans for ChatGPT and the new Grok 4 that came out. So
Scott likes to spend money.
I guess we're going into the AI mode right here.
Yeah, because it's not going anywhere. Yeah.
And it's a bad idea, I think. AI. So anyways, I'm paying $200 a month for the ChatGPT Plus, and I'm paying $300 a month for the Grok 4 Heavy. And with those, you get advanced voice modes where literally you can talk to them as a conversation. And it's fascinating. And I spent a lot of time talking to Grok and ChatGPT. And last night I identified two key areas. I think I've mentioned already. Is I like discipline and clarity. Those are things that are holding me back. So I'm like, I need a coach. And so she popped up and she said, "Oh, I can coach you." And she gave me all the pros and cons and disadvantages. And she said, one of the pros for me is I'm free. You're already paying for me, and 24/7 I'm available. And I know a lot of stuff, actually. And I'm like, what's the con? She goes, I have no real world experience. And so I'm like,
that's it.
Yeah. But I know a lot of stuff, right? And so then I asked her, give me a match as a percentage. So she gave me that I'm probably 80 to 85% match. 80%, I think, match. So then I plugged in Alan Goes, my master, actually. He came in at 85%, actually. And so I'm really considering using him as a coach, which he already agreed to, just because he knows how to deal with me. And for me, just knowing that my coach could utterly obliterate me in a fight without even trying.
Oh yeah, there's some value there.
There's a certain amount of respect that comes, and knowing that this dude in his own right is a freaking legend in jiu-jitsu. I mean, he's been in hundreds of fights. He has exposed himself to life and death combat, much like a Navy SEAL would actually, and understands the mindset of how to deal. It's like one of my challenges right now is I have a lot of stuff going on, and I get anxious, and I let that anxiousness drag down my ability to think. So I'm thinking that is probably one of my biggest problems, and discipline, that he could probably do a really good job with helping me on. So anyways, I was wondering to get your feedback on that. What do you think about that? Or could there be a better coach that I could get than that? I mean,
well, you haven't mentioned about one of the options. It's not A or B. It can be yes.
Yes.
Use the human, use AI.
Yeah, a blended approach.
Bridge the gap a little bit. They know more than him, and he has more life experience than they do, and he knows you better, as much as you put information in, than AI.
Oh, we've spent hundreds of hours together.
So, which one will you follow the rules for more? Which one will the discipline apply to? I think maybe you use them according to that.
Yeah.
So you can coach and talk and discuss with the AI, but you know it's not going to hold you accountable in any way, not really, because you're the one who's paying the bills. So at the end of the day, it's going to go over whatever. Whereas with Alan, he won't put up with your crap, right? He'll call you out on it.
He'll call me out, and
that's like, what's the best workout program? The one you follow. What's the best diet? The one you follow. Right? Is it better than this one? The one you follow.
Yeah. Okay, can I transition this in, just because we only got a few more minutes, actually. Can I transition into, I know, Dan, you're a big fan of, what is it, Hard 75?
Yeah, 75 hard.
75 hard, actually. Can you tell me about that? Because I can't, whenever you said that, it's like you're in my head. I just keep coming back into this. 75 hard, 75 hard.
Your chat can give you a whole rundown. It's a sneaky little bugger. It's a sneaky bugger because it disguises himself, just like good things do, disguises itself as like this little physical thing you're going to do for a while. That has nothing to do with a physical thing. Literally, it has I literally think it has nothing to do with it. Like, you just sprinkle those in just to add to it. It's all grit. It's all mind strength. So there's 75 days. It's creating a new gear that you can level up to when you need to in life. And I'll tell you what they are, tell you whatever. And I think I might have shared this with the Toastmasters, but Julie and I were halfway through, almost exactly halfway. We were 37 days.
Oh, you're doing it right now.
Into our fourth one. Yep.
Oh, okay.
Gallon of water.
Sorry, can't do it.
Yeah. Right? And that's exactly what Chris was talking about, right? But the fact of the matter is this hard? Yes. Are two 45-minute workout? Yes. Yes is the answer to all these things. It's not a matter if it's hard or easy. It's a matter if it's worth it. Now, that's to be determined. And it's a matter if you can put the big rocks schedule-wise and priority-wise into your jar before all the little things that fill it up. So you're not at 7 p.m. drinking half a gallon of water. You'll do that one time. You won't do it again. Because that's a domino effect, and you realize really quickly how decisions will domino into the next day, week, month. And you wonder why you had a wishy-washy quarter. Because of those bad decisions you made early on, and you allowed them to continue unbeknownst to you, because you're not doing a daily task of hard to recalibrate every time. But once you do, you embrace the suck that it took for 24 hours, 48 hours, now you're back on track. And you know you have that gear set up that when stress happens or overwhelm, that you can recalibrate and get back on track consciously. Not, I hope things get better. No. You make things get better.
You make things.
That's why.
What are the elements of it? So
75 days. I'll give you the tasks, but the 75 days you're doing these tasks. If you miss one day, one task, you start over at day 0 and you do it again.
Oh, wow. Okay.
There's 0 breaks. That's part of the gig. It's 100% trust. There's an app for that, but you basically click a button, right? Who's going to know? You're going to know. And he said, according to Andy, he said he can look at you and tell you if you did it or not. What we were talking about before, like when you walk in a room, you have a presence. That's what he talked about, right? He's like, I can tell. You clicked a button you shouldn't have. You didn't do that thing. I don't know where it was or when it was, but I know you didn't do it. Daggone it, he got me, right? So Here he goes. Ready? 75 days. Start day 0. Here's the hardest one. You're not going to believe it. Here's the hardest one. Photo of yourself. Hardest one because it's easiest. I've quit. I've lost the race twice and had to start over. Both for this reason. Both of them. Okay. Photo of yourself. Shirt off. Don't share with anybody. Just you. Right. Gallon of water. 24 hours, gallon of water, like that day, Tuesday, right? Midnight to midnight. Okay, here we go. Number 3, 45 minutes outdoors. Hot, cold, dry, wet, 45 minutes outdoors. 45 minutes exercise. 45 minutes exercise, indoors or outdoors, but one of them is outdoors. So 2 45-minute blocks of exercise. Read 10 pages. Not audiobook that all my life I haven't been a reader. That was about 40 pages ago, 40 books ago. 40 books ago. Because 10 pages a day, 75 days, you get a few books in. Do that quite a few times. And that just kept going. It's kept going. I still have audiobook, but I listen to books, and I if I really like them, I get both. So those are the 5 things. That's it.
So let me ask you a question. How much would you recommend for me doing this if my number one weakness is discipline?
Oh. How long have we got? Oh my gosh.
It sounds like this is like definitely.
It's all discipline, isn't it? Isn't that what the entire thing
because
is?
Listen, are those hard? Did he say you have to do X amount of push-ups, or you have to run a mile in this time, or you have to do this, or you have to go smack a grandma? Like, no, nothing. All of them are doable. Yeah. It's consistency Not 30 days, not 10 days, not a week, not a break. Consistency, 75. First off, you can do anything for 75 days. Whether you believe it or not, you're going to do it and you're going to be like, I did it for 75. I couldn't, not someday if I really had to. No, I did it. I did it. 75 days. Consistency and like the dedication, the mind games that get in your way, the voices. How about I just start over? How about I just start over? You don't think everybody else gets that? Everybody else gets that. You just dampen that. That's the exercise. The exercise isn't weightlifting. The exercise is kicking that guy out of your head. By the end, you can't even hear him. Now he'll start creeping back in. And that's why Julie and I have done it 4 times, not 1 time. Because everybody thinks, oh, you're so amazing that you can do that. No. Sometimes I'm sure a lot of people are awesome. They just think it's super easy. I don't. I do it because the goals that are on this whiteboard, literally right back here, they scare me.
Yeah.
I'm not good enough to accomplish some of those. Now, some of them, yes, but some of them, I'm not good enough yet.
Yeah.
And I have to level up. Those are God-sized dreams. I don't care, universe-sized dreams, whatever you want to say. But they're bigger than me. Gosh darn it, they scare me.
Yeah.
And if I can't do these things, I'm not worthy of doing those.
That's so interesting. Yeah. Yeah.
It's who you become. We talked about this. We'll start and end on the same concept. It's not what you've accomplished, what you've done. It's who you've become. I need to be worthy. Do I get 500,000? Great. But super. That's the byproduct of this journey.
Yeah.
And who's on this journey with me, who I've selected to be a part of my habits. I just look up and it's there. I didn't even focus on that anymore. I did first. That's what got me started. But now I'm focused. I'm redirecting that focus on the top of the mountain on myself and what I can empower and teach and develop and influence in others. By so doing, you get great humans in your world, great habits, faith, family, fitness, finance, fun. Might drink a gallon of water or 2. But the truth is, it's not about the gallon of water. It's not about the fitness. It's not about the photo. It's about me, about who I've become.
Becoming a person who can commit to something and completing it.
What is confidence? One thing. Not how you look, not how you dress, not how smart you. Confidence, none of those things. Confidence is believing what I say. Confidence in you is believing what you say. Confidence in me, my self-confidence is believing in me. I say I'm going to go accomplish this goal. Oh my, that was scary to say, because when I say something, I mean it, and I don't even know how, but I said it. Be careful what you say.
Yeah.
If I said I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it. I've proven to myself 4 times 75 that I will. You show me something now, I'm careful. I am more careful what I say.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. That makes absolutely sense. That is so funny, because that is so biblical, because there's a verse in the Bible that says, let your yes mean yes and your no mean no.
No mean no, yeah.
It's clear, right? Which is going to help me too in clarity, because now all of a sudden things are going to get very clear, right, for me.
Well, and for you and for your message and what you represent, your aura, your energy, your space, everything. Because to get to that mountain, you had to say no to 4 others. To say yes to this, you had to have said no to lots of other things. You had to.
Yeah, you have to.
There's not enough time, energy.
You have to, right.
You can't. You physically can't.
Yeah, that's right. We only have so much time during the day. Yeah. So my pushback against this is then if I devote the time to this, at least an hour and a half a day. This is every day, or you get Sundays off, or no? Okay. 75
hard, not 75 easy. Or here, you want me to turn you off on it? It's not 75 soft.
75 soft. Okay. How do you, if I'm gonna go through this thing, how do you expect me to get all the other stuff done that I'm supposed to get done that I can barely do now without exercise?
Well, that's where I came in. How
do you expect
else going on? Isn't that easy? Isn't that convenient for me?
But Scott, you said how do you expect me? He doesn't expect you to do it. you have to do it. It's not what he expects.
Scott, okay, here's a better question.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to figure out how to make that possible.
You reverse engineer.
I know how to do that. I know how to reason up.
Stick to it. Now, will you pivot a little bit? Yeah. I have family in, or I'm at convention in Las Vegas, and it's 100 degrees by 7:30. I did it at 4:30.
I was thinking of travel. How do you do on travel? You're on an airplane flying overseas. I was, where are you doing your workout? Where are you doing
just
your
like anything else, because it's, again, third time, it's not about the water, it's not about the books, it's about accomplishing a task. Everything worth doing is going to take several steps.
You
So
you could
I
replace
can't do it because it takes several steps. No,
you could
know what?
replace
Last
all the
time I could do
tasks
it.
as long as they were equally difficult to do and fit into your schedule. Because the whole point is it's the commitment and the follow through.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah,
it's so easy today to say something and not follow through.
That's it. That's
It's so easy to do that, right?
That's
and no
it.
one's holding you accountable. Your family, your friends, your community is not holding you accountable to your word the way we would have done 50 or 100 years ago.
But unfortunately, that's true. That's 100% true. Subconsciously, they see.
Yeah, they see.
More
Yes.
importantly, who cares what they see?
They know.
Whether they see it or not, who does? I do. And every time I'm pulling bricks away, or I'm putting bricks on, building my structure, building my temple, building whatever, my goal. I'm proving yes that I'm that man, or I'm proving no. I say it, but I'm not really that. Shh, don't tell anybody. I'm a hoax.
I remember when I lived in Japan, there was a potter, a guy who did pottery.
Yeah.
He was an engineer who became a potter. And every 7 years, he had a huge piece of property. He would go off into the woods on his property for 7 weeks and live with a knife and live off the land. He'd grow his beard out long and all kinds of, but it was his way of proving he could do it, that he had the resilience to live in that scenario and that he had the commitment and the follow through. And by putting himself in that situation, he had to produce to be able to survive. His family thought he was crazy, but he would do it every seven years for 7 weeks.
That's
what it
literally
was.
the same thing.
Oh my gosh, that is so crazy. Because I'm telling you, my mind right now is making up a million. I can't do this. You're crazy. I can't do that. You don't know.
Yeah,
Scott, you know
the
what,
two
though?
workouts.
Well, no, but the truth is, Scott, if you didn't, sincerely, like I'm not trying to sugarcoat this. If you didn't feel those things or think those things or have that argument,
Yeah.
then you know what I would say? I'd say, oh, good thing. You're going to be ready. No. You're not taking this seriously. If you didn't have that battle to realize it's 75 hard, not 75 kind of wanna,
Yeah.
then you're not taking it seriously enough. If you're not scared, I don't think the goal's big enough. If you're not terrified, because then it means you're not stretching. This is stuff you've already done. That's not a
Or
goal.
back to what you said, the depth of
The depth
focus. Yeah, the depth
How far
perception
away are
is
you?
yeah, you're not really understanding the goal because your depth perception's wrong.
Yeah, you're not seeing it, but I think you are. So the scare part of this, because it goes from a goal, meaning I'm stretching. If it doesn't scare you, it's a task because you've already done it. It's just I've done the dishes. It's a task. I'm gonna wash the car. It's a task.
Right.
I'm gonna climb the mountain. Okay, that's I haven't done that one before, so that's a little scary. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Now that's a goal. That's a difference, right? To-do list or just a task, right? This is a goal. This is like I'm gonna become something different on the other side of this. What is it, and is it worth it? I think it is.
And if I'm going to hit this other goal, I need discipline to do that.
That's why you nailed it. That's it. That's why we are on number 4. That's why. Why? Because my other goals are so ambitious and so scary. Seriously. that the year before we did the first one here, we set, I haven't told many people this. We set goals and we actually hit markers that we didn't even set. We surpassed it. We hit markers we didn't even, and they're like, everybody's like, wow, that's amazing. I'm like, shame on me. Shame on me. I underestimated. Like I didn't even see how far I didn't have a vision big enough that I think I could do this, and I surpassed. Never again. Now, I can bite you, but I told myself, Julie told, that's why we own a big whiteboard. We didn't have one before.
Yeah.
And I said, never again. I want to set God-sized dreams that scare me. And I'm going to go find a way. I'm going to bite off more than I can chew, and I'm going to chew it. I don't know how. I'm going to put the right people in my life, the right habits in my life, the right hydration, the right physicality. I want to have enough energy because I'm working out to be able to accomplish mindset, skill set, become the man who can accomplish that thing. and then looks down on it from the next peak over and sets a new peak to climb.
That's very aspirational. I'm gonna remember that when I'm outside in the hot Arkansas summer.
Yeah. You can send me curse words. I'm okay with that.
That's the accountability. Have you gotten your curse words from Scott today?
If I see like XO exclamation mark, like dollar sign, I'll do. Okay, good job, Scott. Okay, bye. Don't poke the bear. Just
that is so funny. Okay, I'm gonna seriously consider that.
We should talk about it, Scott. I've been thinking about it for a while too.
Yeah, I don't think we should talk very much though. I think Chris, that we should probably...
No, by talk I mean that we need to have the accountability aspect.
Yeah. No, I will say this. No. That's actually key. Julie and I, you know how much easier it is? I mean, life lessons for freaking days. Life lessons, right? You get you two, the likelihood of you quitting, almost zero. Either of you, I love you, brothers. I love you, but pretty high.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah, it's a hard one. Okay, so what date are we going to start, Chris, then? And let's give it something. Let's give it at least a week, right? Because I got to organize and this and that.
You know this is being recorded, right?
Yeah, exactly.
The beginning of next month is a week away.
So you want to start on August 1st, August 1?
It's an easy number to work off of.
If you do that, I would start doing the activities now. Maybe not all of them in a day, maybe not every day. Start doing the activities and start doing the habit.
It's going to be hard, I know, but I mean, at the end of the day, that's the point.
But then by one, you've already dialed it in.
Okay, that scares me. I'm really wanting to
there we
do
go. That's already a good sign.
Let's go to the 8th. Let's go to the 8th because I've got all this other stuff to do.
No.
Okay.
Good friends don't let good friends make bad decisions.
Okay, fair enough. Okay.
Yeah, so now I got to get up early enough to be outside before it gets hot. So
or just work out. Or just
sweat.
We sweat. Yeah. Just work out in the heat.
Some people pay big money for saunas.
Yeah, I'm not Jamar.
Yeah, doing hot yoga, exactly.
Hot yoga does not sound fun to me. It sounds.
I'm gonna close on this because I need to go. And you've heard my tagline lately, and it's not just a tagline to me. It truly is, and we've selected the words very, very carefully, and we believe it. We believe every single word. Sometimes because of our past, sometimes because of our future, sometimes because of our present. But I'm telling you right now, we use the word fight. You don't achieve anything worth achieving without a fight.
Yeah.
Fight for yourself, fight for your environment, fight for the people who don't believe in you, fight for the circumstances, the fight for the 4 a.m., 5 a.m. club. It's literally a fight. So we say, and on the bottom of my emails now, not to remind anybody else because they've never seen it, but remind me every single time, is that your future is worth fighting for.
Yeah.
It's pick your hard.
Yeah.
Pick your hard of exercise or sickness. Pick your hard of saving or of debt. Pick your hard of any of these categories of success or failure. They both have hard. They're both hard. Pick the right one.
Yeah.
Fight. Don't meander. Don't be passive. Fight. It's a vicious word, but that's the reality. And the biggest person you're going to fight, of course, obviously, is yourself.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because who's harder on you than you? Nobody.
Yeah.
Nobody. Now, some people, sure, but the ambitious people who are ready to achieve something, no one's harder on them than them.
Yeah.
So fight that, use it, but also get enough grit in you. And we said it earlier, not just what can be, inspiration of what's possible, but there's also the desperation of what if I don't?
Yeah, right.
If I do, what if I don't? Both of which, inspiration or desperate, they're both motivators.
Yeah.
So sometimes not just kumbaya, we can do this. That's not enough, usually.
Yeah.
Usually you have to get mad. M-A-D. You have to make a decision.
Yeah.
That's the inside you. That's not outside. That's not a business plan. That's not a structure. It's just inside. You can't put a finger on it, but boy, it's got a grasp on you.
Yeah.
And when you can feel that, you better make sure you know the direction you're about to run with it, because that's a lot of energy, a lot of force. Make sure you're going on the right road and the right path, and then let's go. That's it. Fight for your future.
Okay. Woo!
I'm excited already.
Sounds good. So with that, August 1st, happy Friday, everybody, right?
All right. So Dan, thank you much for being here.
Thanks, Dan.
We'll have to invite you back at some point, maybe. Hopefully, once we've completed our.
I love it. I love it. We can do a mid-game run, a halftime report. We can do a halftime report. We'll do,
Maybe we'll be working out
there's
when
no
we do
dance
that,
routine, but
We'll start doing the podcast mid-routine.
Yeah, you get really creative. I will say that. You think outside the box. You're like, what? Yeah, there isn't.
I was thinking Scott can have those AI conversations while he's working out.
Well, and that's true, right? And those are actually true. Like you start looking at, what's possible. I don't know either. Let's find out.
Oh, that's right. Stacking. Yep. That makes sense. Yeah. Okay.
All right, guys. I respect you immensely, sincerely. I have.
Thank you
since
much.
the day I met you. Chris, I've known you longer, but Scott, I remember everything from down to you advising me to clear off the paper off this little folder over here.
Oh my gosh, really? Yeah. Okay.
I'm telling you, because I love both of your brains. I love how they work. I love how they operate. I love your hearts. And I'm grateful to selectively put individuals like you, specifically you, in as close as we can, because together we can accomplish so much more than we can even dream of. And then selectively, we're going to love some folks from a distance. It's okay too. That's a part of the equation. So thank you. I'm honored to be here with you guys to invest some time. I feel it as a blessing, and I'm grateful for the opportunity. Thank you guys.